So we have an unusual situation this week in that we had a very serious sewer main break. Well, it actually wasn't broken, it was punctured, putting up light poles at the Elmsford Little League, also known as West Rumbrook Park, on 9A. And so what makes it unusual is, as far as liaisons, it is a park, which is Councilwoman Hendricks. It involves permits, which is the building department, which is me. And of course, it deals with the mechanics of fixing something on our parks, which is DPW, the Department of Public Works, which is Councilwoman Jackson. But because many people may not know what happened, we put together some slides. These are very rough. We're going to do one that actually has sound. It is a construction site, so without really vetting it, I wanted to make sure we didn't have sound. But there will be in the ones that we actually post.
With a talented staff putting it all together.
That is correct. So what you're seeing on the screen right now, if you're familiar with the Elmsford Little League Park, it's right off of 9A. It's by the Union Hall, and directly across Teamsters, and right across the street. And as you drive in, there's a parking lot, a ball field, and then in the back, there's another ball field. And at the back ball field, they're putting up lights. It's going to be very impressive. Matter of fact, they were up, but they weren't inspected before they went up. And when they were inspected, the concrete was inadequate to hold the light poles. So they had to take everything down. And of course, they couldn't put them back up exactly where they put them up the first time. And they moved them. And in moving them, they punctured a 66-inch water main, a water trunk line that carries sewage. This is not water, this is sewage. You know, use your imagination. From everybody from Mount Kisco down past Greenberg and to the treatment plant in Yonkers. 66 inches inside diameter, 78 inches outside diameter. It's the second largest, we'll have a picture in a moment, it's the second largest pipe in Westchester County. Very unusual to have that size of pipe. So what I'm showing here is the left field of the lower baseball field. And as you'll see, there's a pole, it's a little bit hard to see, but there's a pole that's down on the ground. That's the light pole that came down. What you're seeing here is a plate that is over the hole where they tried to put in the new light pole, one that would be put in presumably with correct cement and so forth. And there's a plate over it, and you'll notice that there's dirt all over the place. Now that's significant. I know it's a park and you should have dirt, but here's again, now with the plate removed, and you'll see there's water. This was all muck from this. And I'm going to go through these fairly quickly. There's the light pole that came down, and there is what is the defective pole from last fall that they could never use because when it was inspected, the concrete crumbled just by hitting it with a screwdriver, which is not good. Here is this Thursday evening now. We have Commissioner Morabito, we have our engineering department, you see in the back of our Commissioner of Parks, and everybody's figuring out, what do we do? You know, we got word that the people putting up the pole punctured a pipe, but we didn't know how bad it was. We didn't know what they hit. There was nothing. And so Thursday night, was trying to, Thursday evening, couldn't do anything because they had to stage. And fortunately, here's more of our engineering department, and what you see the back of is the county person, from the engineering department, that was on the site all the time. And what was great about this project, even though it's a terrible thing that happened, is the cooperation between everybody to get this thing done. It is a little league field, and Little League starts next week. This is the common thing you're going to see, is people looking down into what? There's John Malone, who's the vice president of the Elmsford Little League, and the person who's looking down is the deputy commissioner from the county that handles these types of things. He's an engineer. And he's looking down now into that hole to see what was it that they did. And this is what they did. You can see at the very bottom, I don't know if this is going to, I don't know if it's going to play. Yeah, it is. So you can see water is running. I'm sorry, that's not water. It's sewage. And so obviously now we knew that they had punctured the pipe. The county told us from their plans that's a 66-inch pipe inside diameter. But it doesn't look 66 inches there, so what could it be? What you'll also notice is that there's a lot of dirt around that. Let me see if I can get out of that. Notice this dirt. Where they were standing, the water that was running from the Sawmill River, which is about 30 feet away, the groundwater was undermining the dirt, and if we would have stayed there, we would have been down in a hole. Mm-hmm. And so that's why you're seeing pipes now exposed, so they had to back off. Initially, you can see a little bit of a pink there. That's where initially it was deemed to be safe, and as the hours went by, it got more and more and more, and the ground was just dropping from this. So obviously, this was an extremely serious situation, because if it's dropping, it could be going into that hole, which is going into the pipe, which now could clog the pipe. And so everybody was very, and you see all around it, it's all sinking. Dangerous situation. So now we have more people from the county figuring out, okay, this has got to be a priority. And fortunately, the town of Greenburgh has an emergency repair company, Morano Brothers, and they were activated, and they came out, and they started to excavate. So this is the pipe that you can see that they were looking down into, and now you notice they're starting to dig this out. They're digging it out even more. This now, they're bringing in plates because they have to try and stop the groundwater coming from the Sawmill River from going into the hole, because they have to repair this thing. So they put down these plates, which takes quite a bit of time. It's a whole day's work to get these plates, and they drive them down with the tractors. Whoops.
It's a shoring process for
shoring
protection.
Process. Here we have Gina admiring.
I don't know what I put this.
No, I know. So here is Commissioner Morabito and the Deputy Building Inspector, Liz Garrity. And Gina was on the site for quite a long time. And again, by people showing up, and later you'll see Councilwoman Hendricks, it really gave an impression, or a valid one, that the town was taking this very serious. And we also made it clear while we were there, we didn't hit the pipe. It wasn't us. It was a contractor that we didn't contract. So more of this. We get through this pretty fast. They digging down. Here's shoving down the plates, and these plates have to be driven down to stop the groundwater. But it was almost impossible. This is now down to the level of the pipe. We're now getting a sense of how big this pipe is. We're also getting a sense of this is not going to be an easy thing. This is 30 inches by 38 inches opening. County is not happy when you mess around with their pipe. They think this pipe was put in the 1950s, and it's in great shape, but not when it's hit. This was the repair that they had decided to do, the engineers. They're going to put a galvanized plate underneath, rods coming up, and put concrete on top of it. You'll see that this is exactly what they did. This is not actually for this job, but it was one that the county had recommended our engineer consider. More of the same. Again, John Malone. This is what we saw John Malone do an awful lot. It was like he was in prison, but it was only because he wasn't with protective gear that he had to stay out of the area, very close to it. What they're now doing is trying to get the water out of this so that they can actually, the county wanted them to expose more of the pipe. And we also had to go further because we had a report that this is one that they told us about, that they punctured the pipe, but we got word that they may have tried in another location. So now what they're going to do is expand this work area to include the area where they may have punctured the pipe before. And so they're going to keep digging, and this is it was fascinating. It was a fairly interesting process of how they replace the dirt with gravel. Gravel lets water go through, the water can get into the tubes, and they can suck it out. This is the big shot at the county who decides what we have to do, and what he says we do. And we did. Now you'll notice, if you can, there's a gouge here, because they went down and they tried to put the light pole here, and then over here they did it, but this one they really did a good gouge. Fortunately, there was still another 2 inches before it would have actually penetrated, so it made it an easier fix. Here it is close up. And so these had to be repaired as well, but it was a much easier repair. This is the thickness of that pipe. And what's amazing is that they were able to do this without all the equipment we have now. Somehow they put in a 66-inch pipe running from Mount Kisco all the way down to the Yonkers. Here's Councilwoman Hendricks. Talking, and this one's talking to the deputy building inspector. And all this time, we have also what's going on the other side of the field is what do we do about the lights? And so Commissioner Morabito was basically like an orchestra leader, making sure everybody can get in. By the way, there's a narrow road in and then a narrow road out, only one. And so coordinating the trucks and excavators to come in and out was quite a task. This is the fix where they put a galvanized steel. Now, this galvanized steel was not available anywhere. The closest place was Albany. And because this was such a high priority, the Marano brothers drove somebody drove up to Albany to pick up that piece. It's a specialized piece because it's galvanized and it's for a 66-inch pipe. But they got it, and they got it overnight, and that's how they were starting to do that. So this is now today. This all started Thursday night, and they're putting it in, and the end result, and by the way, Joe Lucchese, who's a drone operator licensed, he put up a drone, and we'll have drone footage in the near future. And this is the box that they did in order to...
And that was his deputy, Noel Brockman.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's the one.
And so this, they filled with concrete. This is all what, this is the engineer that designed this, hoping it works. And so they poured extremely high pressure, 5,000 pounds per square foot concrete on here. And I think that's it. And so my camera died as I was about to top it off, but we'll have that for another time. So we have a fix. And the nice thing about this, as bad as this was, is it could not have gone faster, because everybody was working so hard to make this happen. Now, there is some news. The news is that now that the pipes have been fixed, both the two in the back and this one, the county is requiring a cure period until Friday at noon until they can put gravel in. I'm going to put something out about this on the GB list. But on Friday at noon to put gravel in. And then they expect to backfill it on Monday. So there's good progress. The one problem we have is that that light pole cannot go back in for 28 days. Because to get it in, they have to ram that down, and the county is concerned, without this concrete being fully cured, all of that repair might be compromised. And so the vibration of the pounding to put in the pole, they don't want to take that chance. So now we're trying to figure out, how do we get the field open? And there's different options. I'm not going to go through them because I'm not sure which one's going to be done. But we're still working to see, workarounds to see what we can do. But we're getting close. And we're not sure about what's happening with the lighting, because light poles are all around the place. But Councilwoman Jackson and Councilwoman Hendricks were there, and they can give their observations. The work was just remarkable, and we picked the right company.
And the coordination was what was really important. And it is a park, Rumbrook Park, so it's Parks Department. Of course, with the ball fields now at risk because they can't open up, the commissioner and deputy commissioner have been frantically making arrangements to make sure that the kids can play in other fields. So they've been keeping very busy trying to manage that, and hopefully it will come together. And just since yesterday morning, so much has been accomplished. I'm really impressed. So it was just a hole. And what the opening, it's like 20 feet down to the pipe? 20 feet they had to dig out.
It was just amazing. I'm a utilities geek. I spent a number of years working in utilities, actually in water utilities, so I was in my glory. I was actually sending texts out and to my former staff. But I know this sounds very boring, but it's very interesting because now you understand what really goes behind the scenes. So you understand from sewer to from wastewater to clean water, and really what happens, and the seriousness of making sure that our contractors are doing what they said they're going to do, and they're here by the contract. Thank you again to Morano Brothers. They were truly amazing on site, making sure that everything was in place. When they learned they had to go to Albany, it was no doubt they were heading right up to Albany. They were just very, very accommodating to everything. Again, always give accolades and kudos to our building department, our DPW department, and parks. They did a phenomenal job coming out, just making sure everything is set. I know everyone was freaking out because we are starting a season for the softball, football, baseball, and we really wanted to make sure that we had this opening on time. We made sure that we found alternate fields just in case they were not able to be on time. But again, with Morano, partnered with our staff, they are really knocking it out the park. So really excited that usually this takes probably about 2 weeks. Literally, that was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I don't even know what today, Wednesday, so almost a week.
And there was Easter Sunday.
And it was Easter Sunday. So all day Saturday, we were out, just watching and seeing the process of it. And again, I know it sounds very boring, and I like, come on, move on with the meeting, but it was very, very exciting. So
I just want to add one final note, hopefully final. Francis mentioned several times that it was a wastewater pipe. None of the wastewater escaped. So everything is,
It
we're
would have
very
been a totally-
fortunate.
It would have been
It would have
totally.
been a
work that
totally
they
different
did.
situation, because then DEP would have to get involved, and there would probably be no use of those fields for the
Yeah.
entire season. We're trying to manage expectations. I think we'll know better on Tuesday when the fields will actually be open. And everybody wants to know, will we be able to play, and I think by Tuesday, we might have a good idea. But in these types of projects, you don't know what's going to happen until you happen. But we've made major progress with them backfilling the field. It did take out a portion of the left field, so we have to see what to do about that and put the fence back. And so, please don't ask, when is it going to open? We'll have a better idea Tuesday.